All right, we are Defenders of Comics, and today we are going to talk about the Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, and we're going to focus on the trailer that was released on Sunday. And before we get into it, I guess I got to say I'm Coach.
Hey, I'm Ace. What's up, everyone?
Hopefully everybody's getting to know us a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Um,
bit.
First off, before we get into it at all, what did you actually think of the trailer? How hyped are you, being the fan that you are of comic books? How hyped are you for this
Well, I'm pretty.
upcoming new rendition, I guess you would say?
Yeah, it's just an alternate version of a story we've already seen, so I'm excited. Um, am I as excited as if this was an original Justice League movie that we hadn't seen anything of? No. So, I mean, I can write an hour dissertation on the weird pendulum swing that Snyder's movies have taken from, when BVS came out, and then the horrible reviews and reaction it got, and the studio scrambling and panicking to change Justice League to make it more Marvel-esque,
Yeah.
and then it bombing, and then now it's back to Snyder's greatest thing ever, and we all love him, and we can't wait to see this. So um I'm excited, but it's muted.
But uh, I think I have the same concerns as you do. I think we're both in agreement that Justice League was horrifically bad.
Oh, it sucked, other than Superman, which
Which
he was
they
the
finally,
only.
yeah, they finally made him a badass that he actually
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I loved it when he took down the league like it was nothing. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in any DC movie. But yeah, by and large, that movie was trash.
I totally agree. And do you feel that it now being 4.5 hours, like I feel some of it was trash just because they tried to throw everything up on you as fast as they could, and I
Yeah,
feel maybe that is 4.5 hours. We're gonna learn some storylines and not just blah. We got to get this out there as fast as we can.
yeah. I mean, 4 hours, man.
That's very true.
I like it. I, I mean, if it's really good, then I'll love it. Like I still love Lord of the Rings. I love the 3.5 hour cut of the extended version. So if it's good, I'll love it. But man, what do you think, Coach? Because let's just go back to BVS for a second. I thought that movie had some amazing stuff in it, but it was horribly paced. Like there's like large chunks of time where there's no action. It's like there's a little action in the beginning, then a huge just nothing, and then the last, you know, hour of the movie is just all action. It's like if he doesn't pace it better, then you could have 2 hours of straight nothing.
And I think that's what happened. I personally like BVS better than probably some people did, but unfairly I sort of knew more of the storyline than the average person sitting there watching it. Because if you
Yeah.
don't know any of the storyline, I think you're very confused on what's actually even going on. Um, but
Well,
other than
sticking with BVS, it's like, do you remember watching that nightmare scene? And me knowing the comics, I was still kind of lost. Like, I thought it stuck out like such a sore thumb because what the hell did this mean? What the hell was
yeah,
this? It looked cool, but what was it?
and I
Now,
think
I
that's
think,
what they're getting so wrong. DC in
yeah,
general and Marvel's
yeah,
getting so right.
yeah. Well, DC just has an identity problem. They went all in with Zack Snyder in the darker version because we were going to be different from Marvel, and I get it. You don't want to ape or copy Marvel and be a clone, so you want to have your own path. But the fans rejected that uber dark tone,
Yeah.
so then they scrambled to go back and be like Marvel, and so because of that, they continue to have an identity problem.
Unfortunately, that's one thing that I hate about it is that it's
Yeah,
so just dark. I mean, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, in my mind, get it right.
and
They
Shazam.
give color in Shazam. And Shazam even went back and forth between dark to colorful very well.
Yeah,
Batman
he
and
is.
Superman, besides Man of Steel, was okay, but Batman and BVS and Justice League are so dark.
Yeah, it's the Snyder. It's Snyder. You know, so some people think he's a genius. I think he's an incredibly talented visual guy. So visually, you're always going to be entertained, aside from the lack of color, which bugs me to no end. But you know, the stories, his storytelling skills are always suspect, in my opinion.
Okay. And that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
Because if you're adding 2+ hours to this, it's basically going to be another story. Hopefully, it's a story that you're telling, and can he pull that off?
yeah. I mean, I think, you know, there's been four, let's see what, yeah, 4 years, man. Almost 4 years, in my opinion, that this has been percolating or brewing and this version.
Yeah.
So, and then when you get 70 to $100 million given to you by AT&T, I'm inclined to be hopeful that it's going to be at least pretty good.
Okay. Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
Is it as a fan? Let's be honest. It can't be worse.
No, oh, you're right. Yeah, I can't think of it being worse. I mean,
I mean, I don't
I
think it
just,
can be.
no, Justice League was an abomination. I mean, it's right up there with like freaking Steel with Shaq and
That went way back.
Catwoman's Halle Berry, or what's a really, really crappy Marvel movie that's like this the worst.
Iron Fist.
Well, yeah, Iron Fist sucked. I hated that. Yeah. I always thought the '04 Punisher really sucked.
I remember
E-
that in the movies.
even though I like Thomas Jane as Punisher, that movie was garbage.
All right, so let's go. We are going to break it down. I am still not 100% sure that we can show this. So do you want to break it down first and then maybe show it, or do you want to show it first and then break it down?
Oh, let's just go for it.
Okay.
We can, well, we can just talk about the stills, can't we?
I got the stills, but I mean, do you want to show the actual?
We probably should just go through the stills.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, let's
I mean,
do
we
that
could
then.
maybe show. Let's do that for now.
All right. So I do like. Again, it goes on dark, but I think it's dark for a reason. I do like some of the posters that we've seen early, and
Yeah,
I like how some of like the J and the L is a little cracked and all that kind of stuff. It sort of just
yeah,
depicts
that's
everything.
pretty cool.
And it goes right into this scene about Superman and gigantic hole in his chest, and I thought that was pretty cool actually.
Yeah, that's a gaping wound, man.
It's huge, right in his heart.
I mean, yeah, you go back to BVS and see Doomsday Stabber, and it's like, ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a large weapon.
yeah. And then
So yeah, go ahead.
no, you go.
I was just gonna say this scene. I kind of didn't notice this the first time I saw the trailer. I should have, but like his scream or his yell, it you see the shockwaves going through
Breaking the
like,
sound barrier basically.
and it's like, oh, when Luther says the bell has been rung, it's like that was so loud it was heard. You know, Apocalypse heard it.
Yeah,
I just like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty cool.
it was pretty cool.
I mean, it's Superman, the greatest hero ever. You know, his power. I think that's a nice touch. I like that.
And then basically the next thing right after this, they go into you hear it's Joker talking, right? Is it Jared Leto
Uh,
talking or is it Luther talking?
it's Luther.
Okay. And then the next scene that it sort of goes into that I want more explanation on is this scene, and I believe it's Wonder Woman. It's,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
on.
that what you see on the right side over there is all them trying to. So there had to be some kind of epic fight or something with
Oh
this
yeah, I mean,
happening.
this looks like that. Uh, you know, uh, I don't know, not prison, but that's where they were holding the mother box, and that I think is where all the Amazons were guarding it. I'm pretty sure that's the same scene
Yeah.
where Steppenwolf arrives and he pretty much decimates the Amazons. And it looks to me like that uh holding cell basically just falls into the ocean on Themyscira. So I'm thinking that's pretty much that. That's got to be what that is.
And then later on, it goes back to Wonder Woman, and it feels like in the pyramids or something like that, where she's
Yeah,
standing on something. And now I love this picture, and it went so fast to see this picture that some people probably didn't even see it.
yeah.
And I thought this was an awesome part, actually.
Is this the dark side?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like she's going on a little Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Of course, she works in antiquities, so she's doing some sleuthing like Bruce would, and finding, oh wow, there's been prophecy of dark side all these years. And of course, if they carry the same story beat from Justice League, the Amazons were well aware of it, and because of the Greek gods, joined with Atlanteans and humans and even some Green Lanterns, and took down Steppenwolf or Darkseid. So it's been passed down through generation, like all the stories in mankind. So
And this is another typical Zack Snyder situation where why does this right here have to be this dark? Where you can hardly make this out of what it actually is. And I feel bad for people if they're watching to see this photo up on our screen. This is as bright as you basically can get it without it
yeah,
distorting.
I mean, it's just how it is. It's just what he does, man.
And now we
It's his
go
style.
now we go to the next one, and this is epic in my opinion.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Darkseid looks freaking great,
He
man.
does.
Badass.
He does.
I think he looks so good. I mean, better than I would have thought he would have, because I won't get ahead of ourselves. I'm still not a fan of Steppenwolf's look, either version. I'm just not. I think I'm in the minority on that. But so I was like, I think the new gods are all gonna have this metallic, similar look, and they do. But Darkseid, he nails Darkseid,
He
and
looks
Desaad
good.
looks good. Desaad looks good too. But let's talk about the one on the right. This one,
Okay.
this is a big deal, man. This is Granny goodness.
And this is
The
as a way I've always said I'm more of the casual side. I had no idea
right.
who Granny Goodness is. I'm
Well,
gonna be
get to know
honest.
Granny. Yeah, she's the most sadistic torturer on Apocalypse, man. She
Really?
takes all the kids and tortures them and trains them into be these warriors, especially the female furies. Super awesome stuff. Everyone get excited for New Gods because Ava DuVernay is supposed to be making the movie, but she's been hired on like 2 years ago, and they still haven't started filming. I think everything is hinging on the Snyder cut to see where they take New Gods, but I desperately want to see it. Go get New Gods immediately. It blows the Marvel's Eternals away,
Really?
and they were both Jack Kirby creations, totally Jack Kirby. And but in my opinion, his New God stuff buries the Eternals. It's just way
Who's
better.
gonna play Granny?
Well, I mean, look at it. It looks like Judi Dench.
Yeah, it actually
I
does.
mean, it's got to be her. And if they got Judi Dench to kind of cameo as Granny Goodness, genius.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it. I hope that they carry on with those designs into the New Gods movie, because we won't get too far into that realm, but Darkseid is the devil and Highfather is God, and they both have children, and in order to broker peace they exchange their children. So Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, is the son of Highfather. He goes to live with Darkseid, and Orion is Darkseid's son. He goes to live with Highfather, and so you know Scott Free lives in hell, and he escapes. That's why he becomes Mr. Miracle, and great
Wow.
stuff. I mean, I cannot wait to see New Gods. So I'm hoping this leads to something with that. But
Well,
this is exciting.
I'm gonna sort of swing this in a different direction real quick.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know about our TikTok that we have, go on that. But I sort of got killed about the TikTok that I put on here. I said Desaad wrong
Oh yeah.
in the TikTok, and people came after me. And
Oh
hey,
man,
I'm
yeah.
trying. I'm trying. It
D-
was all fun, but
This,
I don't even remember what I said. Deceit or
I think it
something
was
like that.
Deceit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think we're doing pretty good over there. So if you all want to join that,
Yeah,
it's
join us over
fun.
on TikTok.
It's something different. You can
Hmm.
push buttons a
It's
little
good
bit over
time.
there.
It's good time.
So who do you think that is? We all know it's Steppenwolf, but
Yeah.
who do you think it is that he's bowing down to?
I mean, I want to say Dark Side is probably the safe bet, but it it could be Desaad, but I'm kind of looking back here with the stills. I don't know. I think it's Dark Side.
I mean, that makes the
Either one
most
though.
sense, right?
Yeah. It's either Desaad or Dark Side. It's one of
But
the two.
if it's Desaad, does that mean he just doesn't Darkseid doesn't waste time, meeting
Yeah.
with those kind
Yeah.
of people?
Dark. Yeah. Desaad's his number two.
Okay.
So
Why is
he'll
it
he'll
coming
give
out
him
of
the.
like a tablet or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if that's the. Well, we'll have to see how they communicate.
I mean,
It's
that's a
something
little
maybe with
different.
the mother box. Well, the mother box is going to open up the boom tube. So, I mean, we'll get all that good stuff.
And then, of course, so you're saying you do not like the look of Steppenwolf at all. And why
Nah.
does he have like off the shoulder kind of shirt on? He must be working out at Venice Beach or something like
Well,
that.
I'm kind of like, okay, you think the horns are probably just a helmet, kind of like Loki. No, he's got this weird protruding thing on his head that's just part of his head. So, I don't know, man. Not my style of choice for Steppenwolf. I prefer his a little bit more human look that he has. It's kind of cooler, but he looks terrifying, though. I will say that.
I agree with that. He looks completely built. And the scene that he has here, this is a horrible picture, but I thought this was a good one for Diana's mom. But
Oh yeah, Hippolyta.
he's in a big. What's the big war that Steppenwolf is in with them about? Because that was not. I don't believe that was in Justice League, the original one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is going to follow the same story. Well, I know it does because they already showed Snyder showed some clips of Steppenwolf like slicing Amazons. And you can see blood,
Yeah.
and it looks like heck one of them might even got their head chopped off. So I think that's the scene where he. I think they're gonna. It's gonna be all new visuals, but it's gonna be the same
Okay.
scenario. So Steppenwolf's gonna arrive in that vault, and they're guarding the mother box, and he just decimates the Amazons. I think that's the same thing.
Gotcha.
It's just gonna be just all new footage, but in the same story beat.
Now I did not see this when I was watching the original, the whole trailer. But when I
Yeah,
was trying to make some photos for today and I was pausing it and stopping it, you remember when Alfred was talking about the red cape or, don't bring back if you
yeah,
whatever he was saying. When I paused it, I didn't realize that Aquaman and Wonder Woman were in the background of this whole conversation. And
yeah,
so I guess now is where they're planning on saying we are going to basically raise him from the dead.
yeah. I'm really curious to see how they're gonna go about raising him from the dead in this version.
Do you think it will be
Um,
completely different on what it was?
I don't know. I want to say yeah. I kind of want to say yeah, but
And
I don't
why
know
do
how
you
they're
think
gonna do
Zack
it.
Snyder wants to do that completely different? Just because of the Black Superman, how much he's putting into that?
Yeah, I mean, so when yeah, I think he's just gonna choose to go into the suit. It'll be like, hey, I've got to put on this black suit to like, you've done a TikTok on about how the black suit is gonna absorb all that solar radiation to enhance his healing and recovery. So, but I think it's gonna be different. I don't think we're gonna see the same way that he's brought back to life. So I'm excited to see how he goes about that.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it'll be the same, but I don't think so.
And then I thought this was an excellent photo. Can you make it out of what it is?
Yeah, Dark
He
Side.
looks like a badass in this photo, like
Oh my
100%.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, you obviously that's the way it was always intended, was to show Dark Side in the past coming to take over, not Steppenwolf, but Dark Side. And yeah, I can't wait to see that scene done.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's
Now
gonna be
here's a
great.
scene that we did not see. You can remind me, but I haven't watched Justice League for a while because I don't really want to. But this is a scene
Yeah,
that wasn't in the original one where Flash is
right.
basically saving, and I believe that's his girlfriend, correct?
Yeah, that's supposed to be Iris.
Okay.
So as you can, this scene, and there's another still where he, puts his finger through the glass,
Mm.
and then the scene where Superman going back a little bit, where they're looking at the cape. That was in the very first trailer or teaser that they gave for Justice League, and then of course by the time the movie came out, they'd cut all that stuff out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Why would they
So
cut
this will,
that? That's some good stuff, I think. Did they
yeah. I
just
mean,
run out
character.
of time?
Well, let's go back. I mean, Justice League is not a long movie. I think it's. I don't even think it's 2 hours.
Really?
And that was by the studio. They're like, we don't need it to be long because we need more movie showings. If we have a 3 hour movie, then you limit the amount of showings you can have per day at the theater. So it's got to be under 2 hours, and then we'll make all this money. It's like,
So let's
well,
make
it's
it
Lord of
really
the.
suck, and then nobody will go
Yeah,
watch it anyway.
I'm kind of like, you
Huh.
do realize Lord of the Rings did pretty good, and they were all like 3 hours.
Yeah. I guess
So
they don't realize that.
no,
Now, one thing I felt was different here, where he's basically putting Iris on the ground. Why is he barefoot? I'm wondering.
yeah, could be. Is he just living the hippie life or what?
Just hanging
Or
out
maybe,
downtown with no shoes on. I guess I don't
or
know.
maybe he burned his shoes off so quick because I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And then here's where it gets good. I'm follow These photos follow the trailer. We
Ooh
see
yeah,
Superman in the black suit.
it
And
looks like we're
you
gonna get a.
explain the black suit a little bit. I know I did a TikTok, but some people might not really even know what the black suit's all about.
Well, it's totally his recovery suit. I mean, it came about in the great Death of Superman comic from the early '90s, where he actually died and he came back to life with Kryptonian technology. The black suit was used to quicken his recovery by super absorbing, solar radiation, because that's what gives Superman his power.
I mean, you
He
just
came
think
back.
about it being outside in the sun with a black shirt on compared to a white shirt on. It
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
it's just soaking all that energy in. So, how he's gonna have that, or how that's gonna be introduced, in the movie, I'm excited to see, you know, who's going to have that. Is that going to Diana have it? Does Bruce have it? You know, how do they go about? Does maybe Lois? I'm hoping Lois has some more scenes because I really like Amy Adams, so I'm hoping she's in the movie more.
Amy Adams, I think, is a good Lois.
Yeah, she's really good. I mean, she's redheaded, which is odd looking, but I mean, she's so
I'll take
good
it
that I
with
don't.
her though.
Yeah,
I My question is I know there's a scene that I didn't put in there but it was from the original one too, where they're back on his farm and
yeah,
they're like hugging or something. Could he
yeah.
have gotten the black suit there
That's a good thought. Yeah, maybe his mom had it. Maybe it's
in the pot?
you
Was in
know,
the pod or
in the
something?
pod or something. I'm looking forward to that scene because I don't know if you recall, Joss Whedon got shredded over how stupid it was. That, oh, what was it like being dead? Oh, I don't know. It was itchy. Like what? So I'm hoping that the dialogue is a lot more emotionally, compelling here with seeing his mom and Lois back together, and
Yeah.
because it landed like a thud in Justice League, just like most of that big turd.
100%. And then I am a Batman fan, but I am not 100% if I think this is cool or if I think this is way overboard. And
This is Zack Snyder, man.
I'm leaning towards the overboard, honestly.
I mean, this looks like a GI Joe fortress,
Yeah.
mobile fortress. I'm like, um, okay,
Why?
this
I
this looks
don't get it.
either I it looks cool. I I'm not gonna lie, but on the other hand, I'm like, well, okay, maybe this will work.
I don't know how they're gonna bring it in that they're like, hey, we need 4 hours and what a 15-minute movie, and I'm gonna decide we're bringing in a freaking tank, and I
Yeah,
just
I want. Yeah, where does this scene fit in at? Like, where is this gonna
it's
fit
got to
in?
be something with Dark Side. I'm guessing.
Or they is he using this in that scene where they go into the tunnels and that weird nightcrawler thing? He was, I don't know, where it ends up flooding and Aquaman comes in.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that I don't know if it's gonna be in that or where it'll fit, but we'll see.
Uh,
It's kind of cool, but jury's out on it.
it's just
Might
too.
be overkill.
I think it's overkill because I think you need to concentrate more on the actual making it right for us, the fan, not bringing in a big badass looking tank doesn't automatically now make this a big badass film. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like, look how great Batman is. Like, well, I've never seen him draw or drive a. Well, I think he had one in The Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller, maybe, but he doesn't typically drive a freaking back tank. So
No. Yeah. I know he's got money, but come on.
come on.
Now here's the ending, basically, of the trailer, and this is pretty cool. It's where
Ooh,
Superman, and I'm
yeah.
hoping surely, with how Zack Snyder thinks of Superman, that he is still going to be the big badass of everything. I'm
I
hoping he
really
is.
hope. Yeah, I hope so too. I do. Now, here's a couple things I want to say on that is I'm in the minority because people are like, "Oh, Superman fans, it's the black suit. It's the black suit." I'm like, okay. I mean, to me, the black suit is a cool little thing, but if I want to see Superman in all his glory, I'm kind of like, I'd rather see him in his actual suit because,
Are
you
you
know,
hoping then this isn't the whole movie? Is that what you're trying to get at?
yeah, I hope so, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, if we see him in his blue suit, it'll be at the end him ripping his, the movie's over and he's, flying off again. But this is how we're gonna see him in all the action scenes, in my opinion.
And see, what I worry on people being a casual fan is they're not even going to understand the black suit. And I can see people thinking the black suit means he's in a dark place. He's,
And I
that
and
kind of stuff.
see that was how it was gonna be. I mean, when Zack Snyder was gonna film Justice League 1 and 2 back to back, he was gonna be not in his right mind coming back, and Darkseid was
Mm,
gonna control him. So he basically would have been, evil Superman through, this movie and into the next before, the league kind of helped him come back around.
I don't
So I'm
want that.
real, no, I didn't want it either. And I would actually agree with the studio at that time. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've had Ultra Dark Superman enough, we're done seeing that. This is not Superman. Let's not do that. But that was the intention, and I'm going to be real curious to see how they if they stick with that or what. I don't know.
Okay, so before we get any further, because we're wrapping this up, I want to know two things that you want to 100% see in the Justice League that you feel is going to make it so much better than the original one.
Well, what do I want to see?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
What's
You know,
gonna
I
make it go from it sucked to hey, now this was a pretty good movie? There's hope for DC, basically.
Here's the thing that I've grown to like BVS over the years. I had mixed feelings of it at first, and the reason I did is because after you saw Justice League, it was like, holy crap, that felt like a Frankenstein's monster. You could just tell it was thrown together, pieced together. And I was like, you know what, BVS didn't totally work, but it was Zack Snyder was all in. This was his vision. It was a complete movie. It had its problems, but he had a vision, and I
He
think
went
this
from
is
A to
gonna.
B.
Yeah, I think Man of Steel. BVS and then Justice League here are going to feel like a cohesive narrative, and it's going to be okay. Whether it's your cup of tea or not, it's going to at least be quality.
Okay.
You still may not like the darkness or the tone, or even some of the set design, what have you. But it's like, okay, there's still good things here because it ended on just a complete abomination Frankenstein
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
But other than that, for me personally, I just want to see Superman kick ass, and I
You
think
want
we're
to see
going to see
more of it.
I think we're going to see a much better Ben Affleck Batman because say what you will about Ben Affleck if you like him or not, I thought he was all in too on BVS. He was shredded. He was intense. I thought he was an amazing Batman. And then you could tell because they had to reshoot it all on Justice League.
Yeah.
Ben was in the throes of alcoholism and he'd gotten bloated. The look at the cowl in Justice League. It barely fits his face.
Yep.
And I think, with this, we're gonna have that consistent Batman.
So you're thinking we're gonna see the Batman of BVS, not of the original Justice League.
Oh, absolutely.
That would
I'm
be
pretty
way
confident in
better.
that.
That would
Yeah.
be way
And
better.
lastly, I think Flash is going to be redeemed because Flash is one of my all-time favorites too, and he was a joke in Justice
He
League, an
was.
absolute worthless joke turd.
But it's because that's going to be one of my things is to be able to tell a story and get interested in each character to where yes, I know about Flash, but I was already comparing him to Flash from CW, and it's not fair
Right.
because when you
Yeah.
go away and you say the CW actor was way better than the actor they had for a major motion picture, that's a
You've got a
problem.
problem.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
And I don't think they gave him a chance to be better.
Mm-mm. Say what you will about Zack Snyder as well. His casting choices, in my opinion, have been superb. Momoa's Aquaman, Henry
Oh
Cavill,
man, he's amazing.
greatest Superman since Christopher Reeve. Wonder Woman, holy crap! I don't think it'll be years if ever you can see another actress play Wonder Woman. And I think Ben Affleck has a lot of fans for his portrayal as Batman. But the Flash was a glaring like, I don't. This just did not work.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping he gets redeemed in this movie, and that when the Flash movie starts filming in April, we'll be much more excited for it.
fair enough. And
I
I
hope.
think that's where I think my major thing is just the storylines. Um, I'm a little iffy on Cyborg just with all the stuff that was going on with him in the
Yeah,
background, which is unfair on my side. I need to just watch
yeah,
it. And I really hope with how good Jason Momoa is that they allow Aquaman to do a little bit more than what he did in the original Justice League.
yeah.
And I think it would just be really cool. And
I do too.
I'm going to give Jared Leto a chance.
Ooh, we probably need to talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a chance, but he scares me on how he was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah. That's grown on me too. I've felt like that's the other thing. If this does well, there's the whole Ayer cut, the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, which was more of an R-rated, gritty,
It has to
dirty.
be that, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
Suicide Squad.
that was another one where like, oh, Warner Brothers, oh, we're panicking. We need to make it more like Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're freaks and there's kind of jokes and it's dark, but not too dark. Eh, they botched that too. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the Air cut could be something special in it, and the Joker's scenes were decimated in that. So there's probably I think they only kept like a quarter of what Jared Leto shot as the Joker in what's out there now. So
Don't
maybe
you
he'd be a
one?
lot better.
Don't you 100% like the look of Leto better? What we've seen of this
Yes.
one than what he was in Suicide. Even if the acting is better in Suicide Squad, the look was so bad, in my opinion,
I
that
just
it
I
just turned me off.
yeah, the tattoos just did not work for me at all.
The shorter hair, slicked back, it was just weird. I
I
mean, it
I
wasn't even comic book like at all.
I mean, as far how right they got Harley in that movie, like
Oh
she is
man.
like phenomenal. It's like, oof, wow, you did not compliment that with a decent portrayal of the Joker. So we'll see what he does with whatever film or whatever scenes he's shot for this Justice League.
I hope it's good.
At the very least, the action has to be better. It has to be.
I would hope so. Why would you go into this much detail and add 2+ hours to something that's
Yeah.
I I don't know.
I can remember walking out of the theater from Justice League thinking, damn, that was, I mean, the action was just super lame. I mean, maybe there was one or two scenes that were memorable, and that was about it.
Yeah. Now you have some other news, and before we get to your big news that I think could be actually big news and be good, did you hear that Zack Snyder wants to get Henry Cavill Ben Affleck and Deathstroke together in a new movie? The Deathstroke actor. Why am I drawing a blank on him?
Joe Manganiello.
Yes, he wants those two together in a big movie.
Is he just saying that?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
really?
I thought I read it today. I can't
He
remember where.
probably, yeah. I mean, he wants that. I don't.
Do you
I
think
mean,
it's a
Warner Brothers.
possibility at all? Will Ben Affleck come back for it?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't see him wanting to come back. That was such a bad time in his life. You know, if he probably has a lot of bad memories of being Batman. I just don't know if he wants to go do that. Plus, he's older.
He's way
You have to.
older. I mean, he's
I
old
mean,
now, and I don't mean
yeah,
anything by it because I'm old.
he's about our age. I mean, I can't imagine having to get ripped again like that.
I mean, for
I
millions of
should,
dollars,
but
I would.
well, yeah, that might be a nice incentive. But
That's what I tell my wife all the time. The Rock's job is to work out.
yeah, touche. I hope so.
I think that would be a good movie.
That would be so awesome.
And
I
like you
mean,
said, I think Deathstroke deserves his own kind of thing.
I do too. I mean, if anything, if they had any brains, they would make a Joe Manganiello Deathstroke HBO Max series.
That'd
But
be amazing.
if you did the Ben Affleck unproduced movie that he was going to write and direct, oh, that's a tragedy that didn't happen because it was going to be him basically being tortured by Deathstroke. You know, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Game back in the 90s with Michael Douglas, where he's just kind of like a mouse led through all these scenarios, and he was manipulated by. Oh, I won't spoil it, but you know that was supposed to be what Deathstroke was doing to Batman. So, I mean, culminating in them having a throwdown and the two best fighters in the DC universe. Woo-wee.
That'd be good. That'd be really, really good. And then, why don't you say your big news? And I think this could be potentially good news, or like you explained it to me, it could actually be horrifically bad if it's true.
Well, there was a story on Bleeding Cool today that DC Comics, for any of you that don't know, AT&T bought out Warner Brothers. They own everything. Well, as much the billions that these characters make mostly comes from everything but the comics. So the movies, the merchandise, the TV series, now the streaming shows, theme parks, what have you. That's where they get the money. So the comics make very little money, actually, and you're paying creators huge money. And according to guys that have worked in the industry for years, they're like, look, DC's not going to, or Warner Brothers and AT&T are just not going to produce these comics anymore. They're going to license out the rights for someone else to make the comics. We're going to keep everything. We're just going to license. You can go make the comic books, but we keep everything else.
The only thing I worry about that is then it won't be a cohesive anything. The comics, if anything's new done, it will never be what the movies are. You'll never have that connection.
Well, I think there's no way Warner Brothers would give up any kind of like if they sold it to person A, the deal would be like, okay, we're gonna we're gonna get paid from you to produce these comics, but whatever you make, we have the option of making a show or a movie out of.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way they're going to make a deal in anything else
Okay.
than that. So, but yeah, the big news of this is that not only are they still considering doing this, but like rich fans would be the ones who would buy the publishing rights.
And that's
so,
scary. That's scary and cool in a way, but
so is Elon Musk a comic fan? I think he is.
man, can you imagine, like you said, let's say my biggest superhero is Green Lantern, like you were saying,
Yeah.
and now I'm all of a sudden gonna make Green Lantern the baddest, guy in the planet, and everybody bows down to him, but I can write it because it's mine. I mean, I can
Really,
do
it's
whatever I
like,
want.
oh, I've got all the money I want, and I'm gonna take my toys, and I'm gonna make Superman a Green Lantern, and I'm gonna make Batman and Amazon. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
So, but here's
Or worse, I shouldn't go there, but or worse, a woke side will buy it and
oh yeah, that would scare me too. That would really scare me. That would actually drive me away to where I don't think I could read them. We're all about certain things, changing with the times, but going super woke would be
that'd be hard.
abysmal. That'd be hard. But hey, the big news. Well, let me back up for a second. News made the rounds today. There's a bunch of comic guys that have their shows. If anyone's ever heard of Perch, he's pretty good. He's really knowledgeable. He says this just doesn't make any sense. This is not going to happen. But conversely, we got Ethan Van Sciver, a long 27-year veteran of the comic book industry, as he says, and amazing artist. Cyber Frog, he's making millions off of this Indiegogo self-funded comic. Anyway, he still got contacts on the inside, and apparently he's thrown out a name of someone that could and might be willing to buy the rights is Robert Kirkman from the creator of The Walking Dead. So
Do you
the guy
like
has
that?
I might, and I'll tell you why. We've made TikToks on this, and I'm gonna pitch it right, or I'm gonna push it right now. Do yourself a favor, and Coach, you do yourself a
Okay,
favor,
I'm writing it down.
and read Invincible by Robert Kirkman. Might be the greatest superhero comic. It's outside of Marvel and DC that's ever been made. It's phenomenal. And the
Invincible.
Amazon Invincible, and there's an Amazon animated series debuting in March. So check it out.
Wow.
Anyway, so that he can do superheroes, and he can do superheroes quite well. So this could have potential.
Do you think he'll keep the integrity of what everything is currently? Like the Superman, the Batman, the Flash, all those high quality superheroes.
I
Are they going to keep that?
I do. I think if this had any truth to it, and this could have just been a whisper in some office meeting, and Robert Kirkman was just making a phone call inquiring, and it took a life of its own. So who knows if this could happen? But if it were to happen, I would feel very cautiously optimistic with him being the buyer. I think there's a lot of other creators that I would be running for the hills and scared shitless
Okay.
because they were taken over.
I
Robert Kirkman, I'd be like, okay, this has a lot of potential.
I mean, as a guy that doesn't know a whole lot about him, didn't know anything about Invincible, um, I hear his name and I think zombies, and I start
Yeah,
worrying right away that that's the direction he would go with DC and blah
yeah,
blah blah, and that would scare me.
yeah. I think the only thing I'd be a little worried about, but I think he'd have enough. He knows comics so well that I don't think he'd do this. His stuff is ultra violent. Invincible is like, holy, oh, that was graphic. The violence.
Okay.
So you see Superman punching someone in DC. Well, you see Invincible punching someone, and he accidentally punches his fist through this guy's face, and it goes out the back of his head.
Okay.
So So that might worry me a little bit, but I think Robert Kirkman would have respect the characters enough to not go down that road.
Uh, I think it's exciting. I mean, at least it's something and not just being done.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
at least they're going to talk about it and maybe have something happen. But you got anything else?
I guess the only other thing I'd say about it is the only other creator who he still works for Warner Brothers by making the Stargirl TV show and writing for some of the other CW shows, I think, and has got his hand in some of the movies still, is Jeff Johns. Single-handedly the
Mm.
greatest DC writer ever. No one knows these characters more than him. No one loves these characters more than him. But he's kind of been ousted from DC Comics. So if there was some way he could get it,
Does he have the money? They could buy
I don't
that.
I don't think he probably does. I mean, he's got money, quite a bit, but he doesn't have Robert Kirkman money because
Would
The
it be
Walking
something
Dead is.
Kirkman would want him involved with?
If he was smart, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, if you got Jeff Johns over there to control with Robert Kirkman, the DC universe, you'd have the greatest DC universe ever. And that's my opinion. Sometimes people don't like Jeff Johns as much as others, but he's still mostly known as he's the greatest Green Lantern writer ever. That's not even for dispute. So that's what I
Wow.
want to see.
All right. Well, that sounds exciting, actually. That'd be
Yeah.
cool if that would happen. But that is all I got. If you all like this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button, and then check out. We got some links. We got a Discord. Obviously
Yeah.
TikTok is going well for us, and I don't know why because we're old, but it actually is going well for us. And it's like I said, it's sort of fun. But we're gonna try to do more of these YouTubes as time goes on, and not just maybe once a week. But if some news comes up, we might jump on here and do this again.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the plan.
All right, we're